Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So many of you guys have been poking me to test out this crab. The main reason is because it has this ability which can cause its attacks to be much quicker. It's a very fast hitting companion. You can see that against a dummy. And with its ability to apply a stack of an extra 20% recharge speed per stack of bleed, this companion can effectively gain 100% recharge speed. You'd think your cooldowns would be then 0, and I guess it kind of is, but it basically can attack as quickly as possible, basically doubling the rate at which it would normally attack. And we can see that when we go and jump to a dummy. You can see all those damage numbers racking up there, and if we zoom in a little bit on the crab, you can see he's gaining those different bleed stacks, which then gives him those recharge speed stacks. If we look on the dummy, you can see the stacks there as well, and each of those stacks gives him the ability to attack faster and faster. So theoretically, you'd think that yes, he could bring that up to a significant rate and then gain that 100% and be able to attack super fast, getting lots of damage. Unfortunately, he's not exactly the best out there. He does have this unique ability compared to all the other companions, but you can see his stacks of bleed and recharge do then disappear, and he's going to have to go and work to gain them back again. So it's not going to be a permanent thing that's going to be on him while he's attacking. Those stacks do drop off. So when we look at the damage he could deal against that dummy over a long duration, we can see there that he was dealing only just over 14.5 thousand encounter DPS, damage per second. And his maximum hit, you can see, is very small. It's only just over 22,000. But the ability to hit really fast, 1,700 hits in just 12 minutes. But his DPS then doesn't really put him in any of the contenders, as we'll see in a little bit. But then I wanted to go and check out the companion which you can get from the new event, the Siege of Neverwinter. Now this Siege of Neverwinter has been somewhat updated, so it's definitely made it a lot harder to get this companion. You're going to have to open those annoying packs or potentially gain this companion from your heroic encounters, which is a super rare drop chance. And she just has the ability to shoot arrows with her bow. She does have the ability to do a tiny bit of AoE by having her heavy fire be able to penetrate through targets, and that way she can deal damage in that big long line behind them as well. Now she does have the benefit of being able to do pretty high damaging hit, especially at the beginning there. We summon her again and then do this massive big hit. You can see over 100,000. Now she is definitely a bit better than the crab, dealing nearly 20,000 DPS there. Another 10-minute test, and we can see maximum hit that I got there was 88,000. It will look like she's doing up to 120,000 damage, but that's just because with her heavy fire it seems to proc off twice rather than once. You can see there in the time slots each hit hits twice, and then the damage floater is just stacking on top of each other. Each hit there is about 80,000 on a top hit there. So unfortunately her damage is nothing really to gawk at. And then I went and also rechecked out your Armored Orc Wolf. People have been saying it's really good, and it definitely does have the ability to do pretty massive hits there. We can see it will also have this bleed effect, which will be able to stack multiple times, and there you saw the massive hit completely depleting the dummy's hit points. And that massive hit is from its bleed attack. You can see the base damage there was nearly 300,000, with dealing there 190,000 damage against the dummy. So with having a pretty massive hit at the beginning of a fight can be very good when you're in those boss fights where they phase a lot. For example, in the last boss of All the Stars, when you have a very big DPS group. And as for his consistent damage, again, we were only just getting over 19,000 encounter DPS. Now to compare all of these, we get this chart, and we can compare that against what the Pseudo's Dragon and the Githyanki are also dealing on single target. Those being like the top ones there. The pseudo dragon with its highest base consistent damage of over 27,000 DPS. We can see the Githyanki there is just a bit short of that, and the Neverember Guard Archer along with the Armored Orc Wolf fall down there at just under 20,000, and the crab sadly not even at 15,000. And that's those companions. Unfortunately, nothing really special out of those. I wouldn't bother upgrading your Neverember Guard Archer if you manage to obtain it, unless of course you just like the look of her and you just want to run around with her as someone. She is a ranged companion, so she'll stand mostly away from the boss and generally then not get hit by it, not die as often, which can be definitely a key factor to aiding to a companion's damage output. The more they die, sometimes they can deal less damage, but in other regards, let's say the Armored Orc Wolf is to go and die, he'll get respawned and his powers basically get reset, and then he can deal that up to 200,000 damage hit again, which is advantageous in terms of the companion outputting more damage. So where I'm going with this is I'm going to make somewhat of a single target damage check. So I'm going to, similar to what I did with AoE companions, the maximum amount of damage they dealt within 6 seconds, I'll do the same with single target companions. However, I'm still not entirely sure what time frame I should do. Probably 10 to 15 seconds, 20 maximum. Not entirely sure. You guys could give me some suggestions in the comments below, because generally when you're running that content which has those boss fights, like in Tower of the Mad Mage, Halaster would phase very frequently if you have a high damage group, and you're going to need a companion that can deal a lot of that damage in that short window, and it will have the time to recharge its powers before the boss comes back. And that's when you want a high burst damage companion like your Armored Orc Wolf over, let's say, the pseudo dragon. So if we look at the damage a companion can deal within a short window, like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, that could be more representative of the top damaging companions in those certain combat scenarios. So let me guys know what you think down in the comments below, and we'll get back to you possibly in another video after I've done some testing and see where we get to. So again, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of my channel members for helping me keep my channel going. And if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.